Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. Now, this movie is one I was very interested in because I am a SpongeBob fan. I grew up with the first 3, 4, 5 seasons of the show, and I was really excited for this. So let's get right into it. When Bikini Bottom is scooped from the ocean, scientific squirrel Sandy Cheeks and her pal SpongeBob SquarePants saddle up for Texas to save their town. Now, this is about them going to save their town, but why are they being taken? Well, because there's this evil scientist who wants to use these SpongeBob characters as toys. They want to sell them as toys. That's basically it. And when they use this machine, it destroys the original, so the original is gone. But now they want to sell them as toys in a park, in a water park. Along the way, we get to meet Sandy Cheeks's family, and let's get right into this. This film is a big mess. It's a big, big mess. Sandy Cheeks movie should have not been this big of a deal. It should not have been this messy. It's a very simple premise, I think, to what you actually should have done. So, this movie does lean too much into the new animated movie style, whereas they don't really get into the whole great story plots and fantastic animation. They more go for the easy jokes for kids. This is a generic animated movie, folks. This is not SpongeBob. This does not feel like SpongeBob. I'm not going to say that Steven Hillenburg would be disappointed, but he probably would be disappointed in this, because the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob and the SpongeBob movie that was meant to be the end of the SpongeBob franchise should have been the end of the SpongeBob franchise, because that was peak SpongeBob. This is abysmal. This is abysmal as a SpongeBob project. As a movie, let's get into that, because I do have some thoughts on this. While the CGI on the animated characters is new, I did like the style at some points. It did have a SpongeBob SquarePants animation feel to it. It was a lot better than that special they did on CBS, where it was like a claymation. I liked this style a lot more than the claymation style. Wanda Sykes is our villain here. She tries here, but the script does not deliver her any favors. This script is very poorly written, not funny, almost in the slightest. I did get a couple laughs, but that's mostly because they were down in Bikini Bottom, and SpongeBob and Sandy and Patrick and everybody was doing their regular shtick. We don't have that here. We really don't have that here, and we should have. We should have had that, but this movie really did not know how to write these characters. They didn't know how to write these characters. They didn't know how to respect the franchise. You can say you can be a SpongeBob fan, but here's the thing. The SpongeBob fans who are going to watch this are going to be about my age. There's going to be people who will watch this because they grew up with SpongeBob, and they will be very disappointed. If you are a younger child, probably like, I'm going to say 13 to 4 years old, you're going to love this movie, because this SpongeBob movie does have a lot for them. I'm sure it's a lot like New SpongeBob. New SpongeBob cannot touch the peak of SpongeBob SquarePants. This does not give me anything. This does not give me anything that I loved about SpongeBob in the slightest. This SpongeBob movie is piss poor. With that being said, the worst part about this is not only the jokes are awful, but the CGI on the human characters when they're in these suits. When Wanda Sykes is in her robotic suit with her head just floating in there, hooked with like this thing in her glass head, is just stupid. At the end of the movie, when her sidekicks go down to Bikini Bottom, that is piss poor. Those look awful. That CGI looks awful along with the suits. Trying to give them like Sandy Cheeks style suits to go down there. Okay, but here's the thing. You're not using very much logic either, because, yeah, they are up in Texas. They're in Texas. They're breathing air. I don't remember them being given anything to be able to do that. They're fish. They are fish. He's a squid. Squidward is a squid. SpongeBob, in the very first episode, Tea at the Tree Dome, couldn't breathe in that open air. There is an episode where they go up to dry land. That's a very memorable episode for me, where they get chased by a seagull, and Sandy Cheeks has to save them. But this movie really just annoyed me more than anything. Saying that SpongeBob movie annoyed me is not going to be surprising to anybody, but here's the thing. I like SpongeBob. I go back and watch the SpongeBob episodes I grew up with because they're more for adults. They're more for adults. I remember when the VHS tapes came out, and you had Home Sweet Pineapple on there. You had Band Geeks on there. You had Snowball Effect, SpongeBob Christmas. This thing is awful. Not saying that it's one of the worst films of the entire year or anything, but for me as a SpongeBob fan, this just disappointed me. I wanted more from this. This is definitely one that I'm not going to recommend to you unless you are a fan of new SpongeBob. If you're a fan of new SpongeBob, then go for it. If you're not a fan of new SpongeBob, this is not going to be for you. This should have been a lot better, and instead, they just decided to completely ignore what made SpongeBob SpongeBob. The CGI is awful. The script is poorly written. I did get a couple laughs, and I liked the animation style when they... The CGI on the human character is awful, but the CGI on our characters doesn't look awful. It's just a bit jarring because we're not used to that style yet. We're not used to seeing a CGI SpongeBob movie because most of the time he's hand-drawn. We did get a little bit of Sponge Out of Water, which was CGI, but that's fine. See, that's fine. It's half the movie. This is more than half the movie. It's only an hour and 15 minutes, and it didn't drag very much. It just wasn't very good. I'm going to end up being nice and giving SpongeBob SquarePants, okay? I'm going to give Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie, 2 out of 5 stars. The CGI is nicely done. The attempt at the story is... It's a nice attempt. You just need a couple more rewrites in the script to make it funnier. Don't make it a generic style movie with these types of jokes. And we do have a somewhat of a climax here with Sandy supposedly turning her back on everybody because she didn't know that her research was being used for this. We've gone 25 years and we couldn't explore this in an actual episode or a TV special. Instead, we had to do a movie. Gotcha. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Are you going to watch Saving Bikini Bottom, the SpongeBob... sorry. It's not the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie, and let me know your thoughts down below.